Everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk about the Utah Royals, give a little preview of the 2026 season for them. And this is a club that had a lot of change and a lot of positive change, though, if you ask me. And I know a lot of change can sometimes lead to some disjointed efforts on the field while players gel, etc. While the manager works out, the system that needs to happen for the players available. But they brought in two players from the Spirit. They got Narumi, which I'm going to miss at Spirit. They got Courtney Brown from the Spirit. They added defender Simmons and Pierre Louis. They brought in, from Angel City, they brought in Madison Hammond and Moria. Okay, but the big acquisition for the attack came from Club America, and that is Palacios. Okay, and Palacios is not some random player that they just got to fill out a roster spot. She has a real pedigree, and she can bring them some real goal production. Okay, it's absolutely a player that Utah is hoping and needs and wants to change basically the tone of their attack, to give more danger, to make teams sweat a bit more. Because here's the problem though too. Utah lost a lot. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing though, but they lost a bunch, and they lost Lauren Flynn. St. George's is gone. Gray is gone. Several others are gone. It's not really matter. But, of course, they lost Sentnor in the middle of the season. That was a huge thing. And they didn't really replace her during the season. Okay. Well, Sentnor is not easy to replace, right? So when you lose a player of that talent, you've got to answer a few questions. And I think Utah did answer that question with Palacios. Okay. So the question is, did Utah actually get better, or did Utah just get different? Because, well, that's a good question, because the team still has some serious core players. Okay, Tanaka is still a star. Mandy McGlynn is massive in goal. Okay, Monahan, Lacase, Solazano. That's still a core group that brings some danger and makes other teams think. Okay, but with the additions they got, with Narumi in the midfield, it feels like one of the most important signings made after Palacios, because they need control, and she will bring that to them. She will bring them a rhythm. She can bring, she can settle the game for you, and they need that stuff. Okay, who's still out with? They have an ACL injury on that team, and I think it's Laura is still out, and I don't think she's coming back before summer, if then. And if she was healthy, that would be filling out the midfield. Without her, they still got a little hole in the midfield, though. Defensively, though, they've got something that I think they can work with there with Delfava, Robano, Tejada, Real, Matazo. It's a group that should be more stable, more seasoned, more capable of helping Utah stay in matches instead of choking up those easy goals they were starting to do at times last year. But remember, they made a good run at the end of the year, and that's important. That momentum hopefully will carry forward into the season, even though there's lots of players there that weren't part of it. So it comes down to this. Can Utah score enough? Can they create enough? And can they replace the kind of attacking threat they lost when Sentnor went out the door? Utah finished near the bottom last year, but I'm not about to sit here and tell you this is suddenly a title contender. But I do think this team looks more organized. I think they look deeper, and I do think this team has a path to be a real pain in the butt for a lot of teams. Okay, so my hot take really is Utah Royals are very much better, but they're not scary yet because they were so far down the pecking order last year. They feel like a team that can hang around the playoff conversation. They feel like a team that can frustrate people. They feel like a team that might steal points from you. If they can turn their home stadium into a fortress, that can make a big difference in where they finish in the standings. But they still don't really feel like a team you can trust. Like, I wouldn't be wagering on them to win every single week, and I would be picking my battles, okay? So, at least not yet, okay? Don't get me wrong. I don't want to hear it let me hear it in the comments. That's fine, too. But if Palacios delivers, if Tanaka delivers, if McGlynn can steal them some games, you're talking about a team that's suddenly definitely in the playoff conversation. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be another season living near that border of the playoffs. Although I think they would call that an improvement where they were last year. So the verdict, better, more balanced, more interesting, just very much a prove it to me team still. Okay. Thank you for stopping by and viewing this. And if you made it this far, my family could use some help. There's some links below where you could do some things for us, like buying an exclusive U.S. soccer hat from our site directly. My wife's been battling an incurable cancer for a year and a half, and things at times are hard, as you imagine. Okay, and I hate asking for help all the time, but until I find that final job that I need that turns things around, this is where we are. So please like and subscribe if you would. Share the videos and maybe pass around some of the links below if you could. And I'll see you in the next video, and best of luck to the Utah Royals.